As we have discussed earlier in the reading part, we have given with a task, read the following title and subtitles of a passage and predict the content. Why is Facebook addictive? Subtitle. Researchers at Cornell University conducted an online experiment to find out why users keep returning to Facebook. Now, read the passage and check how far your prediction was accurate. Now, this is about prediction technique, what we have discussed in the last class. Now, let us see what is that, how they have predicted this. Why is Facebook addictive? Researchers at Cornell University conducted an online experiment to find out why users keep returning to Facebook. Have you ever considered quitting Facebook? It's possible you logged out of it and on your phone, even deactivated your account, only to sheepishly log back in a few days. Well, you're not alone. A Dutch creative agency called Just carried out an experiment called 99 Days of Freedom. In the experiment, they asked over 5,000 participants to stay away from Facebook for 99 days. The researchers found that there were 4 main reasons why the users returned or did not return to Facebook. First reason, users were more likely to return to Facebook if they felt they were addicted to it. Some users confessed that every time they opened an internet browser, they automatically typed F to visit Facebook. Using Facebook had become a matter of habit for them. B. Users who thought their activity on Facebook was being monitored were less likely to return to it. D. Users who had access to other networks like Twitter or Instagram were less likely to return to Facebook. It may be that their need to connect with others online was being satisfied by these other channels. Researcher Eric Boehmer concludes that the users face a difficult decision on whether to use Facebook or not. On the one hand, they are apprehensive about corporations using and analyzing their personal information, and on the other, they enjoy staying connected with others through Facebook. For many groups, Facebook is the only way they could contact some of their friends and acquaintances. So, I hope students, you have predicted that with the small task, these many lines you can predict and write. This is one technique of improving your comprehension skills. Next one, inferencing. What is this? Inferencing is another useful reading skill. Like prediction, this is also one more useful reading skill. The information in some reading text is implied and not directly stated. Means implied means suggested, just said, but not directly stated. We draw conclusions from what is stated to understand what is implied. Thus, inferencing is a process by which we interpret facts and apply our reasoning and knowledge to reach conclusions. So, inferencing means it is a process by which we interpret facts. When we read something, we interpret facts. What is that? What is that? What are facts in that? And apply our knowledge to come to a conclusion. That is called inferencing. So reading the material, reading or going into the process of reading and interpreting. We interpret. Interpret means we interpret what we have in our mind, what thoughts we have. We interpret those facts and apply our knowledge to the matter or material what is read to come to a conclusion. This is called second technique for reading inferencing. First one what we read is prediction and the second one is inferencing. Now they have given task 9. Read this passage and attempt the questions that follow. There's a single tweet. Passage title is A Single Tweet. James Buck, a graduate student of University of Berkeley, chose an interesting topic for his master's thesis, the new leftists and the blogosphere. This is the topic for his thesis, what he has taken. As a part of his project, he found himself covering an anti-government protest in Mahalaya, Egypt on 10th April 2008. When he was arrested by the government, Before being taken away, he managed to tweet a single word, arrested. Hossam Hamalawi, a student at the same university and fellow blogger, noticed the tweet. He and his other fellow bloggers immediately contacted University of California, which arranged for a lawyer to secure his release and informed the embassy officials as well. More importantly, they also contacted media organizations. The digital SOS worked and Buck was eventually released. James Buck announced this to the world through a single word, free. This was one of the earliest instances which demonstrated the power of social media to inform and act. So this is a passage. You need to infer. What is that they have written in this passage? Only one single tweet, arrested and free. With this, this is about a student who did his thesis or his master's on this anti-government protest in Mahalia, Egypt, and how he was arrested. And then with one single tweet, the other fellow students have come to know that he has been arrested for that. And later, with his media support, he got released and he again tweeted free. This is about a passage what they have given here. Let us see now. Choose the best alternatives. James Buck was arrested for, now you need to, his views on social media are covering an anti-government protest. C, his choice of topic for his master's thesis. B, covering an anti-government protest. Second question, what does the phrase digital SOS mean? A, a kind of technology. B, name of a social media. C, a plea for help sent using digital media. So SOS means a plea, request. Plea means request. A request for help sent using digital media. Third question, when Buck tweeted a single word, arrested, he was expressing his anger or calling attention to his plight or using a strategy to in line with his views on social media? Answer is calling attention to his plight. Fourth question, what alternate media could Buck have used to attract the same kind of attention to his condition? Examine the reach of social media vis-a-vis traditional media. So you can write in your own words, like he has taken help of social media, he can take help of press, mail, phone, etc. And social media as the much faster one, he has taken that. So this is a technique of reading called inferencing. So when you read the passage about that James Buck, what we have studied earlier, you have to infer what is written. Infer means reading the text, giving your own interpretations for the text and coming to a conclusion. This is one exercise which they have given for this thing. And next one is facts and opinions. The ability to read purposefully and critically can be developed through various techniques. To begin with, any reader must be able to distinguish between facts and opinions. One should identify what is a fact and what is an opinion. Fact, it is a statement that can be proved. Such statements are usually backed by supporting evidence, which usually takes the form of a quotation, an example, a statistic, a personal experience, a research finding. What is an opinion? A statement that says something about the author's attitude towards the subject, what he believes or feels, or opinions do not require supporting evidence. So you should identify, you should be in a position to know what is a fact and what is an opinion. A fact means it is a statement, proved statement is called a fact. And that fact will be given with supporting evidences, proofs. Supporting proofs will be given, a statistical data will be given, a personal experience will be given, a research finding will be given for fact. But whereas opinion, it will not be given with any proofs. It's just a statement that says something about anyone's attitude or towards the subject, what you or others believe. So there will not be any supporting evidences for that. So one should identify what is a fact, what is an opinion. Here they have given one example. Look at this example. Social media can be very addictive. It is an opinion. A study conducted last year by an American university showed that features such as like and actions such as sharing and retweeting release the addictive neurotransmitter dopamine. It is a fact. It was also found that the lack of endorsement and acknowledgement on social media often provoke jealousy and anxiety. So students should be in a position to identify when someone has written something, you should know what is a fact, what is an opinion. So fact is always followed with the proofs and supporting details, statistical details, whereas opinion is not followed by any proofs. It is simply just a statement. So it is called, opinion. So in reading, when you are taking part, when you are doing the part of reading, you should know how you have to read. What are the useful tips in comprehension? How can you learn comprehension skills? When you are comprehending, what are the techniques we should use? One is prediction technique, one is inferring technique, and then you should also know facts and opinion. How you should divert, how should you identify what is a fact, and how should you identify what is an opinion? This is about reading.